I'm considering divorcing my wife because she can't get over her mom dying. Yeah, I know everyone is fired up at the title and ready to tell me what an asshole I am. To those people, I implore you to read the rest of this post before making a judgment. My wife's mother passed away 5 years ago from lung cancer. It was not a peaceful or easy death. Our lives understandably went on pause after the diagnosis, and we both spent a lot of time off work helping care for her mother. My wife had a pretty typical showing of grief at the time, cycling through different stages. Same with our 3 kids. After she passed, however, my wife got really bad. I totally understand this. I can't say I know exactly what she went through, because I haven't had a parent die, but I understand how devastated she was. For months after she could barely function. I gently took over pretty much all the responsibilities in the household and with the kids. She had been attending grief counseling since the diagnosis and continued after the death. None of this is the problem. I endeavored to be as supportive as possible. She cried on my shoulder every night for months, and I just thought this was the worst of, for better or worse. The problem is that after 5 years, she does not seem any better or more functional. She stopped grief counseling about 4 years ago and refused to go again, stating it would not help her and that nothing could. About a month before any major holiday, she will have a major downturn. In bed half the day, crying all day, does not want to interact with the family, does not have the energy to do anything around the house. This will go on every single day until about a week after the holiday ends. Every holiday is intense grief, just as much now as it was 5 years ago. October, November, December, and January, her mom's birthday month every year, are particularly bad. I am essentially without my wife, and am a single parent to my 3 kids. Altogether, she is completely incapacitated by grief for about 6 months out of the year, and has been the past 5 years. When I say incapacitated, I mean incapacitated. When she is in the depths of her grief, she is completely incapable of intimacy with me or the kids. There is no cuddling, spending time with us, going on family outings. I don't have sex for half the year. I've stopped asking her if she wants to talk about it because she can't get any words out between sobs if she tries. What hurts the most is that the kids have stopped asking or being concerned. If they see their mom in bed when they get home, they just go about their day and might casually mention, "Oh, mom is sad today," if their siblings or I ask where she is. They don't really seek affection with her anymore because they rarely get anything more than tears. I've discussed this with therapists, my parents, friends, etc., and I know all the rebuttals people have for this, so let me preempt them. She is unwilling to go back to therapy for grief counseling or to see a doctor for depression. Yes, I know she's severely depressed. I can't force her to go to the doctor, I've tried so much. Yes, it really is just as intense as it was 5 years ago. No, I never tell her to get over it or blow her off. On my worst days, I just give space and leave her be. Most days, I try to offer her some comfort. If you want to judge me for leaving her alone, whatever, but know that I feel like I essentially have caretaker fatigue at this point. No, she does not have a history of depression, but she does have ADHD. Don't know if that's relevant. I feel like my wife died when her mom died. I would do anything to get her back, even a small piece of her, but she doesn't seem willing or able to move on past her mom's death. I feel awful for considering a divorce, but I don't know what else to do. I'm getting rid of the foster child my family has had for 7 years, and I don't care if it makes me a bad person. Firstly, please reserve judgment until the end. If you still think I'm a bad person after reading this, I won't stop you. I'm a 30-year-old man. My mom was a foster carer for the last 11 years before she passed away, and she made me promise that I would take over when she died. She had heart failure but had lived from 7 years after diagnosis. She had 2 foster children, Jay and P. Jay came to live with us when I was 19 years old, and he was 8 and had severe behavioral issues linked to his trauma. My world was turned upside down. But I very quickly grew to love him. Underneath the trauma and the difficulties, he was an amazing boy who I loved with my entire heart. He's now 19 himself and still lives with me. He just finished high school and I have no plans to move him out until he is ready. Jay and I have a great relationship. On the other hand, P is 16 years old. He came to live with us when he was 9. P has severe special needs, and no matter how much I've tried, I just cannot connect with him in the same way I did for Jay. Whereas Jay's behaviors needs never bothered me, with P they do. I find him frustrating, and I have to remind myself that he is only on the same level as a 3-4-year-old mentally, and it's not fair that I get frustrated at him. When Mum was still alive, she took the main role of looking after P, and I supported her, which was okay. But I knew that when she was gone, I would struggle with him by myself. I didn't sign up to do this. I didn't sign up to look after him for the rest of my life. I just didn't. Mum died 6 months ago, and I said to myself I would try. I kept P for all this time, but I just can't cope with him. I can't. I told my social worker that he needs to be moved by the end of the month because I just can't manage. I want to continue fostering, and I love being a foster carer. But I just cannot meet his needs, and it was different when Mum was still alive. I feel so guilty because I made my mum a promise that I would care for him until he was at least 18. But I'm building resentment to him, and it isn't fair on him. He deserves to have someone who loves and cares for him in the ways that I just can't. So yeah. Call me selfish, call me scum, whatever. I deserve it. Update. It has now been a few days since P moved out, so I thought I would give a little update. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who took the time to read my previous post, and for those who offered support and understanding. It meant a lot, honestly. P has been placed with a new family who specialize in caring for children with severe special needs. I believe this is the best environment for him, and he seems to be settling in well. I am keeping in touch with his new caregivers, and they've assured me that he's receiving the care and attention he needs. At first, the house felt different, quieter but also emptier. There's a lingering sense of guilt, but I'm also more at peace knowing he's in a place better suited to his needs. Jay and I have had more time to spend together, which has been nice. We've talked a lot about everything that's happened, and I'm grateful for his understanding and support. I've also started seeing a therapist to help work through the guilt I have been feeling and to help me grieve. Yesterday, my agency reached out saying they have 2 little boys needing housing for a short-term placement. They said initially 6 weeks, but it could be extended. They are coming tomorrow, and I am excited. They're 9 and 11 and are coming directly from their birth families. This will be my first proper placement, so I would be lying if I said I didn't feel a little anxious. Thank you again to everyone who reached out. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to change my wedding date to include my fiancé's grandparents? Over the weekend, my amazing fiancé of 5 years proposed. I am a very type A person, so right away I wanted to start looking at venues because I knew the month and year I wanted. There's so many reasons why I wanted the month of April. Just some examples. My parents got married in April. My siblings got married in April. My fiancé and I met in April. His favorite month is April due to how much he loves the weather. Spring is also my favorite season. Just a bunch of reasons combined to the perfect month. We also need to get married next year for personal reasons, which is why we're so specific about the year. After searching about 10 venues, we find the one we love. We knew it was going to be our venue BC. When we both walked into the venue, we got emotional. We sat down with the owner and he gave us some amazing deals because he could tell we loved the venue, and so we set the date. I reached out to his mom to let her know we have set a date, and she immediately calls me to say we set the date on a very important religious holiday for her and her parents. I asked her if this is a big deal. Neither me nor my fiancé are religious, and to be honest, I didn't even know they were that religious. Just as an example, my fiancé isn't even baptized, and as a family, they celebrate all the generic holidays, but don't even go to church or pray. In fact, he is so not religious that he didn't even know the holiday fell on this day until she told us. She says it is the most important holiday in her religion, and due to this, she will not be able to be in attendance at our wedding, nor will her parents, as they are even more religious than her. His dad will come because they are divorced, and he is putting his son over the religious date. I reach out to my mother to confirm to her that this was a bad idea, and she asks around. A few of her friends who are also of this religion tell her while this is an important holiday, none of them will miss our wedding for it. Only my fiancé's mom and grandparents are making the big deal. I asked my fiancé what he wanted to do. This is his decision to make and not mine. and he told me that he refuses to give up our dream venue on the only Sunday they have available to please his mother, grandparents, who aren't even that religious. So we don't change the date and tell them they are welcome to not join us even if that breaks our heart. Well, now his mother and grandparents are refusing to talk to us because we won't change the date of our wedding. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to change the date? After a sleepless night and reading over 300 comments, I have come to a few decisions. But first, thank you. Thank you to everybody who made me feel like the bride I deserve to be by telling me that my day and my fiancé support is the most important thing. And for those of you who think I was the a-hole, absolutely a fair point, but the one thing that was not understood was that this decision was made strictly by my fiancé. The ball was completely in his court. I already had another venue booked to look at to replace our current venue. He decided that his grandparents' response was not worth his time, as they should have respected him as a person, not as a religious person. I told my boyfriend that I was not willing to have a sleepless year of worrying if his grandparents will show to the wedding, so we came up with 3 game plans, all of which we are going to bring up with the venue on Saturday. Keeping our current date because we already put $5,000 down, but looking at other venues that may have another date available, and if we find a venue we love just as much, we just lose our $5,000 deposit. But if we are unable to find another venue we love, we ask this venue to keep us on a wait list as maybe one of the Sundays will clear up. Ask his grandparents, Chacha's mother, for the money of the difference for a Saturday versus Sunday wedding, since there is currently one Saturday still available. We think this is a fair ask because something that wasn't mentioned is that his grandparents are very well off financially. Ask the mother grandparents what time would best work with them if we kept the date. We believe that we can both have the wedding and celebrate the holiday, but that may mean that some other guest will not be able to attend because the wedding will be too early, too late. But at least his grandparents' mom will be there. Hopefully one of these options work, but I won't have another update until Saturday. Well, I just got back from our venue, and I had the greatest news ever. He was able to give us a different date. Not only a different date, but a Saturday for the same price he was giving us for a Sunday. I will say that it wasn't easy to get him to agree to this, but after a few tears and my parents getting involved and having to explain to him that we may not go with the venue at all, he agreed. But, with the stimulation, some other bride has to take our Sunday. So if something happens between now and next year in which he can't fill that Sunday, then we are going to unfortunately have to pay this price difference. But I have a lot of faith that brides will be interested in that date, as he has 3 this week alone for brides looking for that same month. As for my fiancé's mother, Wader grandparents, it turns out I wasn't the asshole at all. Once we called them with excitement to let them know we changed to a Saturday, they said they were not going to be able to be in attendance as they have church or temple early in the morning on Sundays and cannot afford to stay out late Saturdays. Cute, considering they've never once been to church or temple the entire time I've known them. But at least the mother saw their ways and agreed she would no longer following their rules and won't to influence by their behaviors. Thank you all for everything, and cheers to being a 2025 Saturday bride. One of the most brutal cheating cases I have ever heard of, and it's my own story. This past month, I, 24-year-old female, discovered that my husband, 24-year-old male, had been cheating on me, and it was way worse than I could have ever imagined possible. Backstory: my husband and I started dating 8 years ago when we were in high school. After high school, we moved in together, went to university, and got a cat together. We got along well, and I would always tell people that it was very easy to live with him. In August of 2021, he proposed to me, and in August of 2023, we got married. After we got married, we were financially stable enough to purchase our own place, so we bought a condo together in spring of 2024. Cheating incident. However, this past month, July, I discovered my husband having sex with my close friend on one of our at-home security cameras. I confronted both of them. My friend, female, 23 years old, known her since 2018, denied the cheating allegation, so I hung up on her. Then I called my husband, and my husband came forward and revealed he had been cheating on me with my friend since July of 2023. That was 1 month before we got married. He revealed to me that they would regularly have sex with her and they would send nudes. Sexed. Some of the times they had sex. I was in the house. The exact footage I saw on my security camera was from the day prior. I was just in the shower. My husband was ashamed and in tears. He wanted to stay with me, said he found me more attractive and loved me, but I knew I wouldn't be able to live with this. A week later, I discovered more information. He was still lying to me. He had been cheating on me with this friend since June of 2021. Yep, that is right. 2 months before he proposed to me was when he started cheating on me. He had been cheating on me for over 3 years. Not only that, he also had paid for sex workers and online porn. Additionally, I discovered that he had told my friend that he loved her, not because he did, but because he wanted more sex from her. Then I discovered that my friend had been secretly talking behind my back for about 3 years, saying that my husband deserved better than me. Completely awful. I cannot believe this is my life. There is more information to the story, but I figured that covers the main parts of it. A question you might be wondering is, were there signs he was cheating on you? Not really, though I will say he is very good at manipulation. I get jealous easily. However, I'd never seen him flirt with anyone other than me. So if they hung out, I would get worried and ask if they did anything together. He always said they sat like a meter apart. I didn't mind him hanging out alone with her because they would go rock climbing and send me pictures. I am bisexual and have lots of friends who are girls and guys, so I didn't want to deter him from spending time with her. Then in July 2023, 1 month before the wedding, I discovered a Snapchat account that shared his cell number and questioned him about it many times. He denied it was his and said he had no idea how it got there. He sent me a news article about how people's phone numbers were being taken and stolen. He also accused me of trying to start fights with him because I have ADHD and must love fighting. This incident was the biggest red flag, and I wished I had dug more. However, I just trusted him. He genuinely always acted head over heels for me. I discovered now that that was his account and he used it to message her. Other than that, there were no signs. Most of the time she came over, I would invite her. So why would I be suspicious if I planned it? They didn't seem flirty. They didn't sit close together, and he would complain about her with me. Both he and I often tried to help her with her messy life situation, but she never followed through with any of our advice. So we'd complain about that often. So maybe I trusted him too much. But I could have never expected that it could be this bad. Before July of 2023, when I found the Snapchat account, there were no signs at all. 0. Conclusion. I know that my EX friend and EX husband struggle a lot with mental health issues. Although I am sure I have not been a perfect person either, I have supported both of them by helping in any way I can, driving them places, paying for their food, offering kind words, helping them book appointments, cleaning their living spaces, etc. I have done more than enough to show kindness towards them. I cannot believe both of them could backstab me like that.